The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Pit Life BBQ podcast. Join us around the pit as we talk all things barbecue. Now here is your host, Johnnie Maggs.
What's up, everybody? Coming to you live from the Studio 21 Podcast Café in Salem, New Hampshire. Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life BBQ podcast. Chrissy, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, we're doing fantastic.
You got the new beard coming in.
We got the
Looking
beard
sharp,
coming
sir.
in, you know.
Looking sharp.
So we're doing that.
I mean, it's not impressive as today's guest's beard,
Hey,
but I mean, you can work on
He's
it.
got the best beard in barbecue.
Definitely.
By far, hands down. Most recognizable anyway, that's for sure.
100%.
So listen, everybody who's listening. Gobble, gobble, you savages.
Yeah.
We are, I believe, 9 days from Turkey Day.
I love turkey.
Turkey's good. I love it. And I think the grocery stores finally gave up, but we'll get to that in a little bit once we have our guest on. Because let's just say prices have dropped significantly. So let's get into it without further ado. Today's show brought to you by Uncle Steve's Shake. Do you ever wonder why there's a line of people trying to get into your neighbor's backyard when they're having a barbecue, but nobody's coming to yours? It's because they're using Uncle Steve's Shake and you're not. Uncle Steve uses some of the finest and freshest ingredients in all his 12 amazing flavors, from the original to the Gator Shake to the competition line to the sweet dessert shake. He's got every part of the meal covered. He has incredible customer service. He's the one answering the phone. He will even call you if he has a question with your order. Where else do you get that service?
You don't.
You don't.
You don't.
So check him out at UncleStevesShake.com. And also remember the Thanksgiving deal. Order the bird shake and a large bird shake and a large dessert shake, and get either a free smoke bomb or spicier. But for Pit Life BBQ listeners, in the comment or special instructions area, put Pit Life BBQ or lettuce and honey, and you can pick one out of any of Uncle Steve's flavors, not just the smoke bomb or the sweet or the spicier. And Pit Life BBQ or lettuce and honey, and you can pick out of all of them. So check him out, UncleStevesShake.com, and on Facebook, Uncle Steve's Shake Nation. Uncle Steve's Shake, shake some on everything. Also brought to you by TwoGuysCigars.com and Two Guys Smoke Shop. I always keep the smoke rolling thanks to my friends at TwoGuysCigars.com. Today I am smoking the Gran Habano Corojo No. 3, which is just short of fantastic. Thanks to my friends at TwoGuysCigars.com, I get to smoke some of the best cigars in the world, and so can you. Just visit TwoGuysCigars.com for your perfect barbecue companion. That's the number 2, GuysCigars.com. Also brought to you by Backline Fabrication and Backline Smokers. Ryan Newland is building the wildest pits, custom to your order, coming out of Austin, Texas today. He's a mad scientist and artist at the same time when it comes to these. I'm still blown away by my pit that I just picked up from him in October. The efficiency that these pits run on is like no other. Is like no other. I can't wait to. It's finally started getting cold up here, so I'm really gonna put it to the test once the cold weather really gets here. So check them out on all social medias at Backline Fab. Backline smokers, build what you want, not what you need. Also brought to you by Magna Chef Gloves. Our brother Alan Fonte knows a little something about fire management, being a Miami-Dade firefighter. He's designed these gloves, and they're insane. That's the only best way I can put it. Made of food-grade silicone. Let me get them rolling here, show you the ease of putting them on. Patented magnetic clips for an easy on and off. Heat rated up to 500 degrees. The 2-finger web fit for firm grip. One size fits all. Dishwasher safe. But if you're more traditional on the 5-finger gloves, he's got you covered too, with his new Freedom gloves. Same wonderful technology, patented clips, on and off, easy. But these, folks, heat rated to 932 degrees. I sat there in Austin, Texas with that firebox rolling and pulled the charcoal basket out, wearing both gloves, as a matter of fact, and nothing. Flames are flying up. The coals are right there, inches away. You felt warm, but you weren't getting burned. Check them out at magnachef.com, and at checkout, use the code FREEDOMLIVES for 10% off your order. That's Freedom Lives for 10% off your order. Magna Chef gloves, master the fire. Freedom gloves, take a stand, free your hands. Also brought to you by CustomCuttingBoardsRS.com. Brother Ian Hemming is building what I consider the Yeti of cutting boards coming out of Magnolia, Texas. These boards take an absolute beating. I've had mine for over 4 years, and they're still pristine. All the slices, all the gouging, everything, it takes it. The patented non-slip grips he has on the bottom, so even on a wet surface, the board will not slip on you 1 centimeter. The extra deep reservoir lip to catch all the beautiful au jus coming from whatever protein you're cooking. From the dishwasher board, so your standard countertop board, to the absolutely massive 18 by 36 brisket board and the pizza board for that perfect slice every time. Check them out at CustomCuttingBoardsRUs.com. That is the letter R, us.com.
So good. Did I black out? Did we do the new promo code for?
Yeah.
Oh, I just blacked out for a minute.
Freedom Lives.
I was probably talking to Kent. That's fine.
Freedom Lives for 10% off your order.
It's in the chat. I just
Absolutely. Let's see who's here real quick. C-Mac, what's up? Daddy Dutch. Ross Schmidt. Mad Max, what's up? Matt's Backyard Barbecue, what's up? Fresh. Actually, I don't even know if he's home yet. He might be. He was down at the World Food Championships down in Dallas all week. Great coverage. He had posted on all the New England Pitmaster page, the Pit Life BBQ page. Great coverage. Did very well for himself. I want to say an 8th place brisket, if I'm not mistaken. But New England was represented.
Still on the
road. How's that for you?
You got the goodest English I ever heard.
That's right.
He said he's still on the road.
Still on the road. Yeah. He's coming up. Well, just to break your heart there, brother, we're expecting snow about 10 o'clock this evening. So I know he's been dealing with it the entire ride up. It's been following him.
9th place brisket.
I was in the ball. I was there.
That's close.
But yes, New England was well represented. He did a fantastic job in putting New England barbecue on the map. Efren, what's up? Steve Smith, what's Robert? Clarence Joseph, what's happening, brother? Darren Lucas. CJ. Chrissy, you're in the chat just in case you didn't know.
Cool.
And And so let's get to it. We're going to talk turkey. So in my mind, there was only one person that I needed to talk to. Yep. And he was once again gracious enough to notch out some time for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. Oh, where do we start? Author of 9 cookbooks. Spokes chef for Louisiana Grills. The show, you've seen him on shows such as Diners, Drives-In, and Dives. Best Thing I've Ever Eaten. Food Paradise. You've seen him on Chopped as a cook and a guest judge. Serious business. He currently on Fire Masters. You can check him out every Wednesday on Fox 13 in Tampa for, I'm going to give away our guest name, but for Dr. BBQ's 1-hour suppers, celebrating 40 years of competition barbecue this year. Wow. 40 years of it. Barbecue. Oh, did I mention a little thing called the Barbecue Hall of Fame inductee 2014?
That little thing?
That little thing. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one.
We gave a hell of one anyway.
You know him as the one and only Dr. BBQ, Mr. Ray Lampe. Ray, what's happening, brother?
Johnny, good to see you. Good to be here. So all that stuff, everybody else is doing all that stuff too. I just got a head start on you all 40 years ago. You know, another 30 years, you'll all be caught up.
That's it. Oh. And if I'm not mistaken, you were the inventor of the money muscle cut.
Well, it was a combination of a few of us, but I did. I probably told you that story. I was complaining about it one day to Darren Worth and saying that, you know, that's just nonsense. We shouldn't do that. And he said, you're the one that taught me how to do it. But actually what I used to do was butterfly kind of the whole butt. So you got like a few muscles down there on the end, like a cup of cold kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what I used to do, especially if I was in Kansas City, because a lot of restaurants used to serve it that way there. And at the same time, Chris Lilly did a video because the Memphis in May guys have to dismantle the butt and talk about the different parts.
Yeah.
And he talked about that one part being the money muscle. Now, I don't know if he coined the name or not, but there was a few of us that were kind of headed that way. And boy, I never thought it was going to go quite as extreme as it has, to where, I mean, I just judged the jack and that's all you see. There's no, what I would call real barbecue in the box at all, like a shredded up pulled pork. It's money muscle.
Yep. For sure. Big Kano, what's happening? Eric Spencer, Danny Woodbury, what's happening, brother? So, Ray, like I said, thank you again, making your second appearance. I thank you so much for that. But especially now with Thanksgiving coming up, you are the man to talk to about turkey. Of all your years of cooking it when it was in competitions, then when it wasn't in competitions, now it's working its way back. And now that you are a spokes-chef for the National Turkey Foundation in their program Turkey Smoke, who else to talk Thanksgiving turkey than with you?
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's real easy to start though. When I first met the girls from Turkey Smoke, I was like, this is perfect for me because it's right over there. In 1991, my first trophy I won. I had cooked for a while before I won anything. There wasn't a lot of competitions back then. You had to kind of cook when you could. But my first trophy ever was for poultry in KCBS. Back then, the category was poultry, and it was a turkey, and that's a true story, and I still have the trophy. So, I mean, I've always been a big turkey fan, so it was a natural for me.
Yeah, for sure. I love turkey. But let's just recap real quick, because you are obviously busy every day. But, you know, I've seen you had said the Fox 13 in Tampa on Wednesday, Dr. BBQ's 1-hour suppers. How long has that been going on? Because I don't think you were doing it last time you were on.
Well, it started 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't always talk about it because it is so local. I don't necessarily talk about it with you guys from around the country, but they wanted to do a thing. They picked up Thursday night football. They actually don't have it anymore. So I guess whatever the cycle was, it ran. And they wanted to do a segment to plug in during the day on Thursday to promote Thursday night football. That wasn't just the sports guy saying, "Hey, we got football. Hey, we got football." So they called me about doing a tailgate thing. And a friend of mine that works over there suggested me, and it was fun. We would do these produced segments, and then they started sharing them around the country. So what I would do would be like if the Buccaneers were playing the Ravens, I would do some combination of Baltimore and Tampa dish. And I just reused one of them that was it had to be the Bucks were playing the Chiefs. So it was some ribs, in a Kansas City style, except I used rum, which is a typical pirate, Buccaneer ingredient. So it was really fun. Some of it got a little bit out there. I made the Colts were playing New York, and I made like a sweet corn and bacon pizza one day. But I'm telling you, it was still pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun, though. So that's where it started. And then the end of the season, they really liked having me around and doing that stuff. So they said, "Why don't you just come in the studio every other week and do something with us here?" And it's great. I mean, I really appreciate it because it promotes everything I do. We got the restaurant here in St. Pete, so it's nice to be on TV with them, and it's great. I mean, unfortunately, local TV, it's hard to get much money out of them, but it's certainly a big deal. I'm very famous. Like if I go to the grocery store now, because the Fox channel down here is like the big deal that everybody watches, and I get to the grocery store, and I'm pretty famous now.
But yeah, for sure. Now, speaking of the restaurant, how's that going? Because we were just out of COVID or coming out of COVID last time?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's hard to find to find the clear beginning. It's hard to find the clear end. I'm not, for restaurant guys, it still hasn't ended because we didn't see this labor thing coming at the end of it. I don't think anybody did, but it changed a lot of people's attitudes towards life, and people don't want to get ground down at their jobs, and restaurants tough, and so we have a hard time getting labor. So you got to tolerate it a little bit more than I would like to. That's for sure. And then weird things that you just can't get. They just don't show up one day, product shortages. So it's a lot more of a challenge than it was in the early days. The early days was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's business. It's how it goes. It's not always fun and easy. It's, sometimes you got to work a little more at it, and we're there right now. But I always tell folks, though, if you don't think your restaurant friends are out of it yet, because they're definitely not. When you go to a restaurant, if it costs a little more and the service ain't quite as good as it was, put up with it, or they're not going to be there. It's that close.
Yeah, it is real close. It's, a friend of mine runs a bar, and he run into this very similar, that one of his bartenders who had been there for years was coming back and said to him, "Listen, I can only do, 30 hours a week." And he's like, "Well, why?" He goes, "Because I can still collect my unemployment." He was making more money on unemployment than technically at some of the nights at the bar, and, technically, quote unquote, on paper, I suppose. But yeah, so that's what he was doing. He came back working 20 to 30 hours instead of the regular, just so he can still do it. But he goes, "What am I going to do? I need this guy, and I need the bar staff. I need the wait staff, the kitchen staff, so I got to play ball with it because I still got, I still got the, they want the rent and the mortgage payment every month."
Well, in the good old days, you might, start looking for someone to replace that guy that was willing to work full time. But these days, it's so hard to find someone that's probably the hardest part for me. I'm a Chicago truck driver at heart, man. I've been self-employed, and I've had a job since I was 14 years old. I'm 65. I have 3 jobs, and to have to tolerate employees that just kind of suck, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Or even a good employee that just decides he's not going to work more than 30 hours. I mean, in the real world, you would say, "I'm okay, thanks, but I'm going to start looking for your replacement." Right now, you're happy you get him for the 30 hours.
That's it.
It's so hard to accept that to a old school kind of guy like myself.
Oh, for sure. And there is a question I've been waiting ages to ask you. And what I mean by ages is within the last 24 hours. How was it to meet the one and only Chichi Rodriguez?
Oh man, that was a treat. Yeah. So we do a lot of stuff around town like everybody does. And our owner, the people that own the restaurant, and they own a half dozen other restaurants, called us and said, "Hey, we need you to go serve food at the Chichi Rodriguez golf course." There's a Chichi Rodriguez whole complex up in Clearwater. And I knew about it. I do play golf here and there, and I just have never gotten around to playing up there. But I didn't know Chichi was around,
Yeah.
So, but we went up there to do it. First thing I did, I accidentally almost walked into a school. There's a school right next to the pro shop for kids that are underprivileged, and typical in Chichi. What we even knew about him way back. I mean, that was his whole thing was to help these underprivileged kids. To this day, there's a school next to the pro shop. I couldn't believe it. And a ball field. I mean, they're like, it's amazing to go walk into this complex. But then I go out to the hole to help serve the food and just hang out a little bit. And they said, "Yeah, well, Chichi's here and he's going to want to take a picture with you." And I was like, holy cow. I didn't know if he lives around here or what his deal was. He's obviously getting a little old. He's 87, but no, there he was, man, looking great and as cool as he could be. I didn't ask him to swing the putter around, but I talked to someone who did, and he obliged. We got to meet Chichi's dog. I got a picture of Chichi's got a little dog his buddy was holding for him. I mean, what a cool experience.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram, and I'm like, oh, that's Chichi. I go, I grew up watching him, and always doing the Zorro with the putter and putting it back in the holster, and
I get to meet a lot of cool people, but that one was pretty special.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to get your opinion on this. The owner of the studio actually printed it out for me, and I've heard it on a couple different shows. Have you heard about this incident that had happened at Clyde Cooper's BBQ restaurant in North Carolina within the past few weeks?
I don't think so. I think this might be a new one to me.
A customer at a North Carolina barbecue restaurant called 911 because of the way her pork looked. She called 911 over the coloration of the meat, of that it had a pinkish tone to it. And so she claimed it was underdone. The owner came and explained to her that it's the smoke ring, and it's a chemical reaction during the smoking process that this happens. So I could give you another piece, it's still going to have that pink ring to it. I can give you a piece of chicken, it's still going to have that pink ring to it. But where have we got that they are calling the police and the authorities over smoke rings, Ray?
Well, I mean, every barbecuer and every barbecue restaurant for sure is accustomed to that situation. I always am curious why you came to a barbecue restaurant if you had no concept of kind of how that works. But it happens all the time. I think we have it on our menu. We have in the past. It's typically the chicken that freaks everybody out. And it's fair. It kind of looks raw if you don't know any better. I try to steer people towards the texture, but they can't help it. Once they're freaked out by it, they're not going to eat it. So we've all given away plenty of free meals because of that. We've all apologized. We've all gotten 1-star reviews. None of us, I don't think until now, have gotten 911 called on for that. That's probably the disturbing part about the whole thing. That, like you said, how did we get to here where someone would think that was appropriate?
Oh, wild. So awesome. That was great.
I mean, I said the same thing at the top of the show before we came on. I said, he was explaining it to me, and I said, I had a similar thing. Yeah, the first time you see it, and it was on chicken. It was smoked chicken. And I remember I opened it up, I was like, whoa, that's interesting. But again, use your brain. The texture, it's not raw meat you're looking at. And you're like, oh, it's almost more of a purpley pink than like raw chicken pink. And so I was like, oh, that's different. And then the waiter came and explained, it's the smoke ring, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Thanks for letting me know. And I went with my day, like not calling 911, that's for sure.
Well, it's hard for people. I was I spent some time with my buddy Chris Lilly this weekend from Big Bob Gibson's, and Chris and I did a lot of work with the National Pork Board over the years. And when they lobbied enough with the FDA to somehow say we could cook pork to 145 instead of 160 or 165, Chris and I we did a lot of work with them trying to spread the gospel on that and explain it to people, and generally people will accept it if you're someone like us that had some credibility. But there were also people that just couldn't eat pink pork no matter what, because their grandma just engulfed it in their head that pink pork was raw and you're going to get worms. And I mean, we had all the facts and we would show it to them and cook it. And we moved the needle a lot. I mean, people have come around to that a lot, but not all of them. Some of them just flat can't help it. And same with a barbecue restaurant. But again, why'd you come to a barbecue restaurant then?
100%. Junior, what's happening? Papa Joe, Big Rome. Thanks, boys, for tuning in. So, Ray, let's talk turkey. We're 9 days out from one of my favorite days of the year. It's a fat guy's paradise. Yeah. Now, in the past few months, there's been a lot of talk about turkey shortages, price increases, which all in the barbecue world, all meat has gone up in price. Oh, yeah. But it seemed that the turkey was getting a little crazy. My wife went to the store a couple weeks ago, and the average price she was seeing was almost $50 a bird, $50 to $60 a bird. And so what do you say with that, with all your work and any information you have from being with Turkey Smoke and the National Turkey Foundation? Is there a shortage or?
There was a shortage. I do work for National Turkey Federation, and I asked her a couple of weeks ago, my main contact up there, Beth, what do we tell people? Where are we on this? And she said, the way I read it is so the turkeys that we're going to have now were in place. We had all those turkeys. They were scheduled for Thanksgiving. What they didn't want to do was repurpose those turkeys to solve the problem 6 weeks ago and then have a shortage as we got into the holidays. So that's how I read it. But the reality is there are plenty of turkeys to go around. I just looked down here. We have Publix, and they're going to have them starting tomorrow. Butterball's 99 cents and their brand 49 cents. Now you said, $50-$60 for a turkey, which is shocking to us. However, we don't think anything of paying $25 for a pot roast and $20 for a slab of ribs. We've been spoiled with turkey because they've been able to keep the price down for so long. Yeah. And of course, they are these lost leaders around the holidays, but they're here now. I'm going to go tomorrow because I need a big one tomorrow. And I'm going to go tomorrow and get it the first day they're on sale, because I don't want to go and don't wait till next Monday, go looking for your exact turkey you want. Get out there and get your turkey, because there may be some panic buying and people may start stocking up because they're 99 cents. I'm going to probably buy a few and throw them in the freezer. Yep. Because I don't know where they'll be in a month or two, but there's plenty of turkeys to go around. Get out there and get yours early. Now, I personally am a injected turkey guy. I'll buy a butterball or a honeysuckle white. I've always cooked that. Probably, we've learned so much of the food science over the last 10 years in particular, most of us. But my grandma always cooked a butterball. She would slip me a 20 to go to the store and get that butterball right away, make sure she had it, like I'm going to do tomorrow. And so I don't know, is it habit or is it just that I like butterball so much? But that's what'll be at my house. And I'm going to go buy it tomorrow for 99 cents a pound. I can't speak to every little city and every store, but this should be the end of it. We should be fine from here on out. So enjoy your turkey on Thanksgiving and buy an extra one. Yeah,
because I was thinking that the grocery stores had about finally had it, because I went up. We have a local chain up here in New England called Hannaford's, and twice a year they run this incredible deal on bone-in pork butts. They drop them down to about 87 cents a pound. So they had one at the beginning of the spring, and they had one that started Sunday in rain this week. So I went up to my local one and kind of wiped them out. you know,
It's guys like you that wreck it for
Yeah.
everybody.
Way to go, Johnny.
hey, you know, there was plenty. The guy said he had plenty of cases out back. So, you know, me taking a case didn't break the camel's back. But as I was waiting for him to bring them out, and I turned around and there was the turkeys with one of the, it was Shady Brook Farms, you know, which has been around as long as I've been around. I've heard, you know, the company, and they were 47 cents a pound and they were 20 plus pounders, you know, so you got the 22, 23 pounder for $10, you know, so it was beautiful to see that, but I didn't know because with everything I'm hearing on the shortage and everything, if the grocery stores just finally threw their arms up and said that to hell with it, we need to push the turkey. So, because they would lower the prices of the turkey, banking on you buying the rest of the day's meals all at one time. So you'll get the turkey on the side, but, you know, bring the numbers up on the rest of the desserts and the sides and all that.
They bait you with the turkey.
It's called a
Bait
loss
away.
leader. Come on, you guys know that. It's called now, at 99 cents, I don't know. They're probably loss leaders. But you also, you know, Publix and Kroger and Hannaford and any of these guys, Walmart is the biggest grocer in the country. They don't make last minute decisions like that. These turkeys were probably contracted January 1st, or maybe the day after Thanksgiving last year. And, you know, I mean, that's what drives the market. But unfortunately, like I said, those were all being reserved or pre-sold or however you want to word it for the holidays. And that was why we had the shortage. I mean, there was a big avian flu this year, you know, and that's part of it. One of the things I say is, you know, in the past, in my life, avian flu, we would see it on the news. It was kind of a big deal. These days, there's kind of a lot more to talk about on the news, and they never get around to avian flu. But it did hurt the crop. But like I said, it's over now, and we should be good from here on in. You know, there's, like I said, I expect to see a big case of them tomorrow, and I can't wait.
Fantastic. So, what are some of your favorite ways of preparing a turkey? Be it the, you know, traditional Thanksgiving turkey, or even some out of the box turkey recipes that come to mind.
So now, first thing I'm going to plug is the turkeysmoke.org website. There's a bunch of recipes there. We've been working on it for a few years. Turkey Smoke is the project where they go around to barbecue cook-offs around the country, and they insert turkey as a category and have special prizes and stuff. But it's also a big movement. So there's a lot of recipes we've been bringing there. A lot of like leftover recipes, but also different parts. How do you cook these drumsticks? As a matter of fact, I got to do it Westby Thursday. I'm going to do some like lollipop turkey drumsticks. And I haven't thought about it, what I'm going to do with it. I'm thinking some kind of Asian sauce on them. So turkey does well with all that stuff. So if you go look at the recipes at turkeysmoke.org, I think you'll be surprised. So if you're not feeling a regular traditional turkey, there's some cool ideas there. I made a really nice roulade, so I made a jalapeno cornbread stuffing and rolled the turkey up around it, pounded out a turkey breast, rolled it around there, and then wrapped it in prosciutto. And it was outstanding and kind of fancy looking. I served that at like a fancy resort this summer. And there's a lot of cool stuff like that that's there. So I just did a red Thai curry with grilled turkey in it. Outstanding, something completely different. And so, you know, don't hesitate to do that if you feel it. But for me personally, I'm gonna fire up the grill. I'm gonna use just charcoal or pellets. I'm not gonna add like a heavy wood smoke to it, but I am gonna want that little bit of wood flavor. And I'm gonna cook it at 325, just like I would in the oven, and serve it just like a regular old turkey. I'll make gravy separate because I don't really want smoked gravies. I know some people do, but for me, it's gonna be very traditional, except that little bit of charcoal flavor. But you know, the beauty of cooking it on the grill too is it frees up the oven. And I always think that's why smoking a turkey when everybody would do it on their Weber kettle back in the day, or frying turkeys when that was all the rage, it really was partially because it got that all out of the kitchen. So you know, the guys outside, drinking some beer and cooking the turkey, and they got the oven and all the range in the house to cook all that other stuff. So I always find that to be a pretty good fit for it as well. So, and I'm going to give you one trick, and this is my friend Mad Max, who was an old big green egg guy and Dizzy Pig guy, my buddy. He showed me this trick. So get your turkey ready, take it out. You got to defrost it in the fridge. And I just go for 4 days. No matter how big my turkey is, it's not going to, if it gets defrosted in 3, that's okay. Just put it in there for 4 days in the refrigerator, in a pan in case it drips. And when it's all defrosted, take all the stuff out of it. Make sure you get any ice out and everything. Get it ready to go. And then put it on the counter in a pan and put a big bag of ice on top, like a Ziploc gallon bag, fill it with ice, put it on top of the breast and let it sit there for an hour. So what's going to happen is the breast meat, which gets done too early, is now going to get ice cold because that ice pack's on it for an hour. And the dark meat, the thighs and the joints and stuff, where it has a hard time getting caught, is going to warm up a little bit. And it's amazing, just an hour of that, how much difference it'll make. And the turkey's fine on the counter for an hour. I wouldn't leave it too much longer. And then go right into the smoker with it. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's amazing how it slows down the breast enough so that you get both of them done at the same time. Because ideally, you'd like to have the breast way down deep by the wing joint at 165, no higher, maybe even a little lower, and let it rest a bit. But the thighs, they do better they're safe at 165. They do better around 175. But that ice bag trick, man, I'm telling you, it balances it out. You'll be amazed.
Oh, I actually saw that this morning on Facebook. There was I forget what page it was from, but they were doing tips. It was like tip number 10, and that was it. It was ice the breast down so it gives the dark meat more time to catch up and everything gets done at once. So that's amazing that you brought that up today.
And use your thermometer. 165 is safe. Again, I like the thighs to get a little bit more, but don't be, like nothing against your grandma, but my grandma would put that sucker in at 6 a.m. and she'd cook that till we were ready to eat it. I mean, God knows what the temp was, but she didn't have a fancy thermopen or anything like that. She just cooked the heck out of it to make sure we were safe. And we're not like that. We all cook a little more sophisticated than that.
And remember, folks, if you're a rookie to it, the smoke alarm, the smoke detectors is not a timer. The turkey was well done before that alarm went off. So
also the thing you stick in the breast, throw that thing in the garbage too, because that thing will have it up to like 180 degrees. If you get one of those with the little pop-up.
Oh yeah, the pop-up.
Don't wait till that's done.
Now a big discussion over the years, and it comes out every year, to brine or not to brine. Now, a lot of the packages will say right on it, young turkey in brine solution. So it's in the packages. Is it really, in your opinion, getting brined in the package, or is doing a separate brine a day or two before really add that much to it?
I think it's technically not brine. They call it enhanced. And what they do is they inject it. They have all these little needles. If you look, you'll see the little needle marks on the enhanced turkeys. Now, someone told me a long time ago, when you have enhanced products like that, they don't all get enhanced with the same thing. So I happen to like a Butterball or a Honeysuckle White, and I think they taste good. But they don't put the exact same thing in. And if you buy a different brand, they may use something different. So, that's where you don't have control. Now, does it have the same qualities of a brine? I think so. They use the same products that we have in a brine. They inject it deep in. So when I buy an enhanced turkey, I consider it brined and I'm good to go. If you really want to brine and use your own flavors and all of that, your own ideas for brining, or you have a package brine that you like, look for a turkey that's not been enhanced. So it's the secret word, and look for one of those, a natural turkey that doesn't have any of that in it yet. If you want to brine it yourself, go for it. I'm not against that by any stretch. It's just not my thing. I'm content with those other turkeys, and they do, if you don't overcook it, it's going to be okay. So that for me, then there's no reason to also brine a turkey that's already been enhanced. So I wouldn't bother with that.
Okay. Then the second debate, to stuff or not to stuff? That is the question.
Yeah, I think we all got over that one a long time ago.
True.
But I don't know. I don't see any great advantage to putting the stuffing in the turkey.
Yeah.
So if I thought there was some great advantage, I would be telling you the safe way to do it, because dangerous. That's the problem is, people put cold or hot stuffing in the turkey and it can get upside down and get sick. You get sick. But I just don't see any great reason to cook it in the turkey. It's not going to get that much flavor from the turkey. Yeah. It's going to slow the turkey down. We're probably going to end up overcooking like the top of it because of that, the stuffing slowing it down because the hot air can't get inside. If you cook your stuffing in a big pan, you get a nice little crust on a whole lot of it. Where if you cook it in the turkey, there's a spot about yay big that gets crusty, and the rest of it's just kind of mushy. So that one to me, now if your mom's been stuffing it for 30 years and that's how everybody at your family likes it, go for it. Hopefully she's doing it safe and everybody's okay. But most of us, especially us barbecue folk, we're kind of creating our way of doing it, the new tradition, and there's just no reason to bother with that.
Yeah.
Now, I've put pulled pork in my stuffing. I've put a little barbecue sauce in my stuffing. You could, if you want to put some sausage in, you could smoke some sausage ahead of time. You could even cook the whole thing in the barbecue pit if you wanted to get a little flavor on it. I'm not against all that stuff, but there's just no reason to put it in the turkey.
Oh, for sure. I like, if I'm going to do anything, I'll usually cut up some apples and oranges, then, put some spices in there, some rosemary, some thyme, in the cavity. So it's letting out that, the citrus notes, the aromatics. Yes. Thank you. I was trying. I'm like, what's the word? I had it. It's gone.
I do that too. I'm not sure it really does any good. And I've actually quit doing it because one time I made a pot of turkey soup after the fact and it tasted like lemon. I had some lemons around, so I threw them in there, so I kind of learned my lesson on that one. And I'm not sure it changes anything in the turkey, but it looks good and it smells good.
Oh, that's for sure. Now, do you have any specific time that you like to rest the bird? They obviously that one's really a personal preference of 15, 20 minutes. Oh, I do it a half an hour. It's not like you're resting it like a brisket. Oh, I gave it a 2.5 hour rest, and where's your happy spot on that?
For me, about 45 minutes would be good. I like to rest something like that. The longer, the better. You don't want it to get cold, but boy, a big old hot turkey, it's going to stay hot pretty long.
Yeah.
And even then, you're going to put hot gravy on it, even if it does get a little cooled off. What part I hate is once you slice it and put it on the platter, it's getting cold immediately then, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So I prefer, if you let it sit there 45 minutes, it's still going to be pretty hot and even longer some days. I don't worry about it. I'd rather, much like, in the early days when we were kind of perfecting those brisket and pork butt techniques, we used to just throw them in a cooler. And it was so nice to have it sitting there done, and that's how I feel about my turkey. I'd rather have it done than everybody looking at me and I've only got a 10-minute rest, and I don't like that. So it's 45 minutes to an hour for me, and you'd be amazed. Almost no juice comes out of it when you do go to carve it. And if you have like those thigh joints can sometimes be a little red, and back to what we were talking about where everybody freaks out about it, it'll solve that too. So for me, 45 to an hour rest would be just fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't put it in the cooler though. I just like lay a piece of foil on
Tent it. Yeah.
Don't wrap it up real tight. Let it kind of hang there. It'll be okay if it cools off a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Ray Sheehan, what's going on?
Hey, Ray.
Dave LeConte.
Wonder how Ray's doing with that new restaurant. I bet he's working a lot of hours himself.
You're going to have to tune in next week. That's a great segue. I might bring you on here as a partner. But yeah, we're actually having Ray on next week. to catch
Moments
up.
that I.
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah, once you get to the restaurant, from what he's telling me, you definitely going to want to try the. Hold on. Do I look good? The Pit Life BBQ burger. So,
Well, with all due respect, I'm eyeing up that fried chicken from a bar. And
doesn't
I'm
that
sorry, I'm
look
having that.
fantastic?
Yes.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he's from what I'm understanding, he's doing really well. It's getting rave reviews. Business is great, so we'll be catching up with Ray next week for sure. So, this Ray, do you got anything coming up or anything in the works that you might want to keep people abreast on before we close this out?
Well, I mean, we're hoping, next year, Louisiana Grills, we got a little bump in the road and doing all the events we were planning this year, but hopefully we're going to get back at it with that. And, right now, frankly, it's I just got home from the World Food Championships. Yeah. And I got nothing on my schedule for about 6 weeks. And man, that feels good. I got plenty to do. Don't get me wrong. I can't just goof off every day, but not much traveling. And it's kind of nice to be done with that for the year. When everybody else decides to travel from Thanksgiving to Christmas, I'll be sitting at home.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, sir, for sure. But Ray, once again, man, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time to come talk Thanksgiving, talk turkey, clear up a couple of the controversies, give us the update on the shortages, and everybody get your birds.
The
non-shortages. But man, like I said, thank you so much. I appreciate every time.
Anytime, man. It's always a pleasure. Good to see you, Johnny.
You too, Ray. Thanks, brother. Awesome. Just a true gentleman.
Yeah.
A wealth of knowledge. Did he on one of his posts? He was at dinner down in Texas at the World Foods, and it was him, Leanne Whippen, Tuffy Stone, and Chris Lilly. Oh, to be the salt or pepper shaker on that table.
Yeah.
And just take in the conversations there.
Yeah.
But yeah, always a great guy. Like I said, I reached out last month because I'm like, okay, Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving's coming. And he goes, oh, dude, I'd love to. I'm going to throw out the dates. He goes, oh, how about the 15th? That gives everybody some time. I go, perfect, beautiful. But yeah, thank you, Ray, for taking the time to join me. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. But as we alluded to before, next week, my brother Ray Sheehan from Barbecue Buddha and now Ray's Roadside Kitchen in New Jersey, slinging those Pit Life BBQ burgers and also the baseball and barbecue hot dogs. Ooh. Cannot forget my dear friends Len and Jeff from the Baseball and Barbecue podcast. Still blows my mind that I got a cheeseburger named after me and it's selling like hotcakes. I was so pissed. Not about that, but I was so pissed about my time and coming back from Texas.
I was going to say, you didn't get to go.
I pulled into New Jersey probably about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
and I'm like, damn it. Because I was trying to get it all scheduled.
Yeah.
So I'd get there at a certain time and able to while it's still open. And
oh, now we just got to take a road trip.
Just didn't work. Yeah, I guess, because I'm running out of cheer wine, so I'll shoot down to Virginia real quick, catch up the cheer wine, right back up to New Jersey, and let's go. Pit Light Burgers for everybody. Right, JJ?
Yeah, JJ's on board.
But before I end this, I need to say this, or else I'd be moving in the garage. Just like to wish my wonderful wife, Mrs. Maggs, Claudia, a happy 19th birthday again. I like the younger women. What can I say? You can't blame me for that. But yeah, happy birthday, honey. We love you. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for putting up with my shit for friggin' the last almost 30 friggin' years.
Happy birthday, Claudia.
Happy birthday, honey. Y'all know the difference. Check us out. All the links are down below. Please like, share, subscribe, rate, share it out. Let's get going. And until next week, keep the smoke rolling.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.